Have you ever wondered why some people smile at you, but something in your gut says it's not real? What if the deepest hatred is not shouted, but hidden behind the sweetest compliments? And what if there was a Zen way to bring that hidden truth to light, without saying a word in anger? The human heart is a vast and mysterious place. It has the power to hold deep love and radiant joy, yet it also hides shadows, hatred, jealousy, and resentment. These darker emotions rarely show themselves openly. Instead, they wear clever disguises, polite smiles, hollow flattery, and smooth civil conversations. But don't be fooled. Beneath the calm surface, much more may be stirring. According to Zen wisdom, the world reflects back who we are and what surrounds us. Through mindful observation and deliberate action, we can start to peel away the illusions. A Zen saying puts it this way: "The truth is like water. It reveals itself when the surface is still." That means to see what's truly inside someone, we must become still, quiet, and deeply observant. Only then can we uncover the truth that hides beneath the surface of human behavior. Hatred, in particular, tends to sink deep into the soul, buried so well it can fool even the sharpest eyes. But it never disappears. It waits, and eventually, when the right moment comes, it rises to the surface. So how can we detect it without confrontation, without chaos? Through the lens of Zen and Buddhist philosophy, we begin a powerful story. It all starts with a question. A disciple once came to his master with uncertainty in his heart. He bowed respectfully and said, "I've met so many people in life. Some are warm, some are polite, but deep down, I often sense something false. They act kind, but my instincts whisper otherwise. How do I truly know who wishes me well and who secretly holds resentment?" The master, seated in peaceful meditation, slowly opened his eyes and smiled gently. "You ask a question many fear to face," he said. "To uncover hidden hatred, you must provoke the truth, but gently, without aggression or blame. There are two actions you must take. If you do them sincerely, the truth will reveal itself. But be warned, seeing the truth is just the beginning. How you respond to it will determine your growth." Intrigued, the disciple leaned closer and asked, "What are the two actions?" The master gestured for him to sit and with calm clarity began his teaching. "The first," the master said, "is this: offer praise and observe. Praise is more than just words. It is a mirror. It shows not only how someone feels about themselves, but also how they truly feel about you. Speak a compliment sincerely. Praise their effort, their virtue, their accomplishments. Then look closely, not at what they say, but how they respond. Watch their tone, their expression, their eyes. The truth is always there." To illustrate, the master told a tale. There was once a humble monk with a brother. This monk always praised his brother, admiring his cleverness, kindness, and dedication. In front of others, the brother smiled and accepted the words with gratitude. But in private, his attitude was different. He avoided the monk, ignored his advice, and even spoke harshly of him to others. One day, the monk decided to test his brother's heart. At a family gathering, he stood and offered genuine praise. "Your recent success is truly inspiring," he said warmly. The brother smiled and nodded, but in his eyes something dark flickered. Quickly, he changed the subject, downplaying the monk's praise. Later that evening, the monk overheard his brother whispering to someone else, "He only praises me to make himself look good. He doesn't mean any of it." It was in that moment the monk understood. Praise can reveal what words try to hide. As the master's story of the monk and his brother came to a close, the lesson became clear. Genuine praise has the power to expose what words cannot hide. The monk had seen it with his own eyes. Despite the kind smile and polite thanks, his brother's eyes told a different story, one of jealousy and quiet resentment. The monk understood then. The emotions buried deep in a person's heart will surface if given the right mirror. And in that moment, sincere praise had become that mirror. The master gently concluded, "When hatred lives within someone, even heartfelt praise can sting like a hidden insult. Their reaction, however subtle, reveals their true state of mind. But remember," he added with calm emphasis, "this is not about trickery. It's not manipulation. This is about understanding. Praise, when offered sincerely, is a gift of light. If they accept it with peace, their heart is calm. But if they show unease, deflect it, or respond with suspicion, then the shadows of hatred begin to show." He then leaned forward slightly, voice steady but soft. "Now comes the second action. Ask for help," the master said, "and watch how they respond." He continued, "This step is just as revealing, but in a different way. Don't ask for something small or meaningless. Instead, ask for help with something important, something that would require effort or sincerity. It's in that moment, when someone is asked to act, that their true intentions surface. If there is hidden resentment or dislike, they may refuse, hesitate, or help only half-heartedly, even when they have the means to assist. Their willingness, or lack of it, will speak louder than any polite words. To bring this teaching to life, the master shared another story. There was once a traveler who became lost in a dense forest. After hours of wandering, he came across two people resting by the roadside. One was bright and cheerful, full of jokes and smiles. The other was quiet, reserved, but respectful. Unsure who to trust, the traveler decided to test their sincerity. He approached the cheerful one first and asked, "I'm lost. Could you help me find the nearest village?" The cheerful man chuckled and replied, I don't really know these woods. I think someone else would be a better guide." His smile remained, but no help was offered. Then the traveler turned to the quiet one and asked the same question. That man stood up without a word, looked at the traveler, and said simply, "Follow me." He didn't talk much during the journey, but he walked steadily and led the traveler all the way to safety. It was only later the traveler realized the quiet man's actions were filled with silent kindness. He didn't need to impress or flatter, he simply helped. The master paused and said, "That's the truth of it. When you ask for help, you measure someone's true heart. Those who secretly resent you may avoid the request, make excuses, or respond with indifference. But those who act from a place of genuine compassion, no matter how quiet, show their truth through what they do, not just what they say." The disciple listened deeply, his mind already spinning with curiosity. He knew he had to apply these teachings. So, without delay, he began his own quiet observations. He started with praise. To a friend, he offered kind words for their insight. To a colleague, he complimented their hard work. To a distant acquaintance, he acknowledged their generosity. Most of them smiled warmly, responding with gratitude. But one person stood out. It was someone the disciple had trusted for years. When praised for their recent success, the person gave a brief smile, but swiftly changed the topic. Something didn't feel right. And sure enough, later that day, the disciple overheard them whispering to another, "He's only complimenting me to make himself look modest. He wants to compete with me." The words stung, but the disciple did not react in anger. He understood now. Behind the friendly tone and familiar face was a hidden current of envy and mistrust. Having discovered the truth through sincere praise, the disciple now turned to the second path his master had taught him, asking for help. With quiet determination, the disciple decided to apply the next lesson. He returned to the very same person who had reacted coldly to his compliment. This time, he approached with a genuine request, an important task that would require effort, time, and a true willingness to help. The person's reaction was telling. They paused, visibly uncomfortable. After a brief silence, they gave a polite smile and said, "I'm sorry, I'm just too busy right now. Maybe next time." There was no anger in their voice, but also no warmth, just distance, an excuse, carefully wrapped in courtesy. The disciple didn't argue. He simply thanked them and walked away. But the truth was now undeniable. The pattern was complete. Praise had stirred discomfort. Help had been refused. Hidden resentment, once invisible, had surfaced with unmistakable clarity. The master's final teaching, eager to understand the deeper meaning of all he had witnessed, the disciple returned to the master. Sitting before him, he shared everything he had experienced, the smiles that masked suspicion, the praise that triggered discomfort, the request for help met with indifference. "I see now," the disciple said, "that these two actions truly reveal what lies beneath the surface. But now I wonder, what should I do with this knowledge? Should I step away from those who secretly resent me?" The master listened patiently, then smiled with calm wisdom. "My student," he said, "knowledge without compassion is incomplete. When you uncover hatred or resentment in another's heart, do not respond with judgment or anger. Instead, reflect. Ask yourself, what is their hatred rooted in? Could it be their pain, their envy, their fear?" He continued, "You must protect your peace. That is essential. If needed, create distance, but do so mindfully, without bitterness. Do not allow their inner darkness to poison your spirit. Remember, hatred is a heavy burden, and the one who carries it suffers most. You are not here to fix others. That is not your task. You are here to remain true to your path. And sometimes, by walking that path with integrity, you inspire change. But if change does not come, their burden is not yours to bear." These words sank deep into the disciple's heart. He realized then that the purpose of these teachings was not to expose others, but to understand them, and more importantly, to understand himself. Yes, praise and requests for help revealed others' emotions, but they also revealed his capacity for patience, for empathy, for clarity without cruelty. The practice was not only a mirror for the world, but also a mirror for the soul. He began to see people differently. Each person, he now understood, carried unseen burdens, wounds from the past, fears never spoken, and insecurities that hardened into armor. It was not always personal. Often their resentment was not about him, it was about themselves. The master had been right. The goal was never to condemn, but to cultivate wisdom and compassion in equal measure. The power of compassion. With time, the disciple refined his understanding and began applying it with deeper grace. One day he crossed paths again with the very person who had once rejected both his praise and his request for help. But this time he chose a different approach. Instead of retreating, he stepped forward with open-hearted kindness. Not to test, not to uncover, but simply to uplift. With sincerity, he said, "I want you to know, I truly admire how you handle difficulties. You have a strength that many look up to." The person paused. They didn't smile immediately. Their posture stiffened slightly, as if unsure how to respond. But then something shifted. A flicker of vulnerability appeared in their eyes, like a crack in a long-shut window. After a moment, they replied, "Thank you, though I don't think I deserve such words." And in that moment, the disciple saw not an enemy, not a threat, but a soul wounded by self-doubt. Their resentment had never been fully about him. It had grown from the seeds of their own fear, pain, and unhealed insecurity. And with a few gentle words, he had planted something new, a seed of healing, barely visible, but very real. After witnessing the quiet shift in a wounded heart, the disciple understood. Compassion can plant a seed, but healing takes time, and wisdom lies in knowing when to step back. This did not mean the relationship was instantly transformed, nor did it mean the disciple turned a blind eye to the warning signs he had uncovered. Rather, he chose a path of balanced awareness, keeping a respectful distance while still acting with integrity and compassion. The cycle of hatred, a lesson in non-attachment. One day, the master shared another teaching with his disciple. Hatred, he said, when left unaddressed, becomes a cycle, a self-feeding fire. The more it's fueled by attention, reaction, and retaliation, the stronger it grows. But if you resist feeding it, if you refuse to be pulled into its orbit, it loses its power. Your shield is non-attachment. The disciple listened intently. "Master, how do I practice non-attachment in the face of hatred? How do I remain calm when someone aims their anger at me?" The master replied, "Non-attachment does not mean coldness. It's not about being indifferent or distant. It means seeing hatred clearly, acknowledging its presence without letting it disturb your inner stillness." He paused, then added, "Think of hatred as a storm. It may swirl and howl around you, but if you are grounded like a mountain, unmoved, the storm will pass. It cannot uproot what is deeply rooted." To illustrate, the master shared a parable. There was once a wise monk who was relentlessly criticized by a rival. The rival spread lies, gossiped endlessly, and tried in every way to damage the monk's reputation. Yet the monk never responded with anger, never retaliated. One day, a follower asked him, "Why do you remain silent when he slanders you? Why don't you defend yourself?" The monk smiled and answered with a question. "If someone offers me a gift and I choose not to accept it, who does the gift belong to?" The follower replied, "To the one who offered it." "Exactly," said the monk. "So when someone offers me their hatred and I do not take it in, where does that hatred remain?" "With them," the follower whispered. "Yes," said the monk, "and I remain at peace." The disciple felt something unlock within him. He realized that the deeper purpose was not just to identify hatred, but to not absorb it, to witness it, but not carry it. The art of letting go. As his understanding deepened, the disciple began to appreciate the quiet strength in letting go. Yes, uncovering hidden hatred was a powerful tool, but clinging to what he discovered, replaying it in his mind, or feeling resentment toward those who disliked him would only cloud his heart. Zen teachings gently remind us, True freedom comes not from controlling what others feel, but from releasing what we ourselves hold on to, expectations, grudges, and even the need to be understood. So the disciple turned inward. He began to practice forgiveness, not as a performance, not to be seen as noble, but as a silent offering to himself. He forgave those who had secretly harbored resentment toward him. He saw now that their hatred was often rooted in their own suffering, insecurities, old wounds, unhealed fears. And just as importantly, he forgave himself for his missteps, his blindness, and the role he may have played in those broken connections. In that soft act of self-compassion, he felt a release, a sense of lightness, like a burden lifting from his shoulders. Hatred, whether from others or within himself, no longer held the same power. The greater truth, unveiling your own heart. Some time later, the disciple returned to the master, his eyes brighter, his spirit calmer. Bowing deeply, he spoke with both gratitude and curiosity. "Master," he said, "I have learned how to uncover hidden hatred in others. But now I am beginning to wonder, what about my own heart? How do I uncover what lies hidden within me?" The master smiled gently, as if this was the question he had been waiting for all along. "My dear student," he said softly, "this is the greatest task of all. To observe others is to see the surface, but to look within, that is where the true path begins." After asking the master how to uncover what lies hidden in his own heart, the disciple was about to embark on his most important journey yet, the journey inward. To uncover hatred in others is to observe their surface, the master had said. But to uncover hatred within yourself, that is to dive into the depths of your own being. The disciple took this to heart. He began to turn the same tools inward, praise and inquiry, but this time aimed at himself. He started with self-praise. Gently he acknowledged his strengths, his kindness, his persistence. But to his surprise, he often brushed those compliments aside. "It's nothing," he would think. "Others have done more." This revealed a quiet, hidden pattern, an internal voice of self-doubt, quietly dismissing his own worth. Then he moved to the second action. He asked himself for help. Could he face his own fears? Could he step into discomfort, into the unknown? What he noticed was profound. Sometimes he resisted. He would avoid the hard questions. He would postpone the difficult conversations. And in that resistance, he uncovered his own hesitations, his reluctance to grow, to heal, to evolve. Just as the master had taught, the very same tools that revealed others' inner shadows could illuminate our own. The process was ongoing and not always easy, but it was honest and it was real. This, the disciple realized, was the true path to awakening. The balance between awareness and acceptance. In one of his final teachings, the master offered a piece of wisdom that lingered long in the disciple's heart. Life, the master said, is a dance between awareness and acceptance. Awareness allows you to see with clarity, to uncover what is hidden without judgment. Acceptance gives you the peace to let go of what you cannot control and to focus your energy on what you can. Together, these two qualities, awareness and acceptance, form the foundation of wisdom. The disciple, humbled by this insight, asked one final question. What if I meet someone whose hatred is so intense, so deeply rooted that it causes harm? How do I respond then? The master's voice was calm. Protect yourself. Yes, but do it with compassion. If you must create distance, do so. But never let their hatred awaken hatred in you. Remember the lotus. It grows in the mud, but remains untouched by the dirt. Be like the lotus, rooted in clarity, blooming in peace. With these final teachings, the disciple left the master's side with a quiet sense of fulfillment, not of having all the answers, but of knowing the path forward. He now understood that the purpose of unveiling hidden hatred was never to shame, never to condemn, but to see clearly, to love wisely, and to live with strength and compassion. Through the simple but powerful practices of offering praise and asking for help, he had gained not only insight into the hearts of others, but into the chambers of his own. Zen and Buddhist philosophy remind us, every challenge in life, even hatred, is a doorway to growth. When we meet those challenges with awareness and acceptance, we rise above the noise. We walk with peace. We see with clarity. As the Master often said, the heart that sees clearly is never clouded by hatred. The soul that accepts fully is never burdened by fear. And so the disciple walked on, not as someone afraid of hatred, but as one who had made peace with truth, embraced the light, and awakened to the gentle wisdom unfolding in every step of the journey. Thank you so much for watching. If this story touched your heart or gave you new insight, please support the message of mindfulness and compassion by subscribing to Buddhism Seeds. Click the subscribe button below and tap the bell icon so you never miss a new video. And if you feel inspired, leave a comment. We'd love to hear your thoughts, your reflections, or what you'd like to explore next. Until next time, stay mindful, stay kind, and keep walking your path in peace.